length, on the 12th of June, it was reported that a passage was practicable and everything was got in readiness for making a start on the following day. On the 13th June, after bidding farewell to our kind friends at York and receiving a salute of 7 guns and 3 hearty cheers, we set sail with a light air of fair wind. We had not proceeded more than a mile down the river when the wind chopped round directly in our teeth and blew a gale. As I could not think of turning back, we were speedily under close-reefed sail, turning to windward. The wind and tide were going in opposite directions, and there was an ugly cross-sea running, which caused us to ship much water over both the lee and weather side. As we advanced, the wind gradually abated, and we soon fell in with quantities of ice driving along with the current, through which we had much difficulty in finding a passage. We made the land near Sam's Creek, and it being now calm and flood tide strong against us, we cast anchor close to the shore between 9 and 10 o'clock. The night was beautiful, and as all my men had gone to sleep, nothing interrupted the stillness around but the occasional blowing of a white whale, the rather musical note of the kakawee or long-tailed duck, or the harsh scream of the great northern diver. Yet I could not close my eyes. Nor was this wakefulness caused by the want of comfort in my bed, which I must own was none of the most inviting, as it consisted of a number of hard-packed bags of flour over which a blanket was spread, so that I had to accommodate myself in the best way I could to the inequalities of the surface. To a man who had slept soundly in all sorts of places, on top of a round log, in the middle of a swamp, as well as on the wet shingle beach, such a bed was no hardship. But thoughts now pressed upon me which, during the hustle and occupation of preparation, had had no time to intrude. I could not conceal from myself that many of my brother officers, men of great experience in the Indian country, were of the opinion that we ran much risk of starving. Little was known of the resources of that part of the country to which we were bound, and all agreed that there was little chance of procuring fuel unless some oil could be obtained from the natives. Yet, the novelty of our route and of our intended mode of operations had a strong charm for me, and gave me an excitement which I could not otherwise have felt. We continued under sail all night, and at 6 in the morning were within 7 miles of the head of Repulse Bay, and cast anchor between a small island and the shore to get some fuel and cook breakfast. In the afternoon, the wind being ahead, we plied to windward, and when entering Gibson's Cove, observed with much joy 4 Eskimo on the shore. I immediately landed near them, and taking Uligbuk's son with me as interpreter, joined the party, and calling out Texma, peace, shook hands with them. They were at first in great fear, and appeared half inclined to run away. But on our kind intentions toward them being explained, they became quite at ease, chatting and laughing as if we'd been old acquaintances. They were good-looking, of low stature, and much more cleanly than those in Hudson's Straits. Their dresses were made of deer skin, of the form so often described, the coat having a long tail somewhat resembling that of an English dress coat. The legs were encased in waterproof boots made of sealskin, and they all wore mittens, which they seldom took off their hands. There were 2 of them middle-aged, Utu Uniak, who had a formidable beard and whiskers, and Kirik Tu'u. The other 2 were lads from 18 to 20 years of age, and we were soon after joined by a fine young fellow with ruddy cheeks and sparkling black eyes, having an expression of exceeding good humor in his laughing countenance. Our new friend wore round his head a narrow leather band of deerskin ornamented with fox's teeth, and appeared to be somewhat of a dandy in his own estimation. None of the party had ever visited Churchill, and they had neither heard nor seen anything of Sir John Franklin. both observatories were completely demolished, and wherever the snowbanks projected in the slightest degree above the surrounding level, they were worn away by the friction of the snowdrift as if cut with a knife. The thermometer indoors varied from 29 degrees to 40 degrees below the freezing point, which would not have been unpleasant where there was a fire to warm the hands and feet, or even room to move about. But where there was neither the one nor the other, some few degrees more heat would have been preferable. As we could not go for water, we were forced to thaw snow and take only one meal each day. My waistcoat, after a week's wearing, became so stiff from the condensation and freezing of my breath upon it that I had much trouble to get it buttoned. One cause of discomfort to me was the great quantity of tobacco smoke in our low and confined house, it being sometimes so thick that no object could be seen at a couple of yards' distance. The whole party, with the exception of myself, were most inveterate smokers. Indeed, it was impossible to be awake for 10 minutes during the night without hearing the sound of the flint and steel striking a light. Of course, I might to a great extent have put a stop to this, but the poor fellows appeared to receive so much comfort from the use of the pipe that it would have been cruelty to do so for the sake of saving myself a trifling inconvenience.
Diving, diving, near the surface, splashing water, spouting spray.
Having taken off some of the lading of Ulibuk's sledge, we had barely resumed our journey when we were met by a very intelligent Eskimo driving a dog sledge laden with musk ox beef. This man at once consented to accompany us 2 days' journey, and in a few minutes had deposited his load on the snow and was ready to join us. Having explained my object to him, he said that the road by which he had come was the best for us, and having lightened the men's sledges, we travelled with more facility. We were now joined by another of the natives who had been absent seal hunting yesterday, but being anxious to see us, had visited our snow house early this morning and then followed our track. This man was very communicative, and on putting to him the usual questions as to his having seen white men before, or any ships or boats, he replied in the negative, but said that a party of Kablunans, white men, had died of starvation a long distance to the west of where we then were, and beyond a large river. He stated that he did not know the exact place, that he had never been there, and that he could not accompany us so far. The substance of the information then and subsequently obtained from various sources was to the following effect. In the spring, 4 winters past, 1850, while some Eskimo families were killing seals near the northern shore of a large island named in Arrowsmith's charts King William Land, about 40 white men were seen travelling in company southward over the ice and dragging a boat and sledges with them. They were passing along the west shore of the above-named island. None of the party could speak the Eskimo language so well as to be understood, but by signs the natives were led to believe that the ship or ships had been crushed by ice, and that they were then going to where they expected to find deer to shoot. From the appearance of the men, all of whom, with the exception of an officer, were hauling on the drag ropes of the sledge and were looking thin, they were then supposed to be getting short of provisions. And they purchased a small seal, or piece of seal, from the natives. The officer was described as being tall, stout, middle-aged man. When their day's journey terminated, they pitched tents to rest in. At a later date, the same season, but previous to the disruption of the ice, the corpses of some 30 persons and some graves were discovered on the continent, and 5 dead bodies on an island near it, about a long day's journey to the northwest of the mouth of a large stream, which can be no other than Back's Great Fish River, named by the Eskimo Utkuhikalik, as its description and that of the low shore in the neighbourhood of Point Ogle and Montreal Island agree exactly with that of Sir George Black. Some of the bodies were in a tent or tents. Others were under the boat, which had been turned over to form a shelter, and some lay scattered about in different directions. Of those seen on the island, it was supposed that one of them was an officer or chief, as he had a telescope strapped over his shoulders, and his double-barreled gun lay underneath him.